Shalom and welcome to this week's edition of the Rabbi's Ramblings. Hope you've had a good week. In this week's parsha, we learn about 7 of the 10 plagues that Hashem strikes the Egyptians with. Now, when thinking about the plagues, one may wonder, what was the point in these 10 plagues? Why did Hashem smite the Egyptians with so many plagues? So we can look inside the Chumash and find an answer. Hashem clearly states to Moshe that the reason why I'm going to bring these plagues upon the Egyptians is that they should learn of my existence, and so too for the rest of the world, including the Jewish people. In fact, we see that the first of the plagues, blood, was that Hashem went after the Nile, being that they served the Nile as a deity because they received their sustenance from it. You see, in Egypt, there wasn't much rainfall. So the way that their crops were able to grow was that when the Nile overflooded, the water went through an irrigation system that they had built, thus allowing their crops to grow. So they served the Nile as a god. So Hashem first attacks their god by turning it into water. But we see that when it comes to lessons that we can take from the 10 plagues, that it states that the worst of the plagues, spiritually speaking, was one of the frogs. Well, what's so bad about a frog? Spiritually speaking, though, a frog symbolizes cold, indifference. Sometimes a person may be passionate for the wrong side, but at least they have passion. They're alive. The fact that they're passionate for the opposite side means that the good side bothers them. They know that it exists, and therefore they're passionate for the other side. But then there are those that just couldn't care less. Even a passionate atheist who can get very upset when someone begins speaking about a God is better than one that doesn't care. Because the avowed atheist is bothered by statements about God because in some way he believes that there is one, and it bothers him that they're talking about it. His expression of his belief is that he believes there is none, but it is a belief nonetheless. Then there's someone that says, you want to say there's a God? Okay. No God? Fine with me too. It doesn't make any difference in the world to me. That's the worst thing. Because today, if we are passionate and we are alive, even if for the moment it's misplaced, we can guide it tomorrow to the proper place. If we have no life, if we have no passion, we're just completely indifferent, it is much more difficult for us to be guided down the path of goodness and light. So we have to learn from the frogs. What do we see the frogs did? Frogs by their very nature are cold. They went though and they jumped into the ovens of the Egyptians. Because Hashem has decreed that they should do this, they went ahead even though it meant that would be the end of their lives. And it would be going against their nature of coldness. Still because Hashem said so, they jumped into the fire. So too with us. That if we experience indifference to something, we need to respond with some more passion. And increase that passion, whether it's in a mitzvah we currently perform, a new mitzvah we may take upon ourselves, or some Torah study. Either way, remember, you matter. So make a difference with passion. Good Shabbos.